Hi, I'm Daniel, and the Casagrandes movie just released on Netflix, and in this video I'm going to review it. So I should probably just start with discussing my thoughts on the Yard House franchise, and how I fell off being interested in it. I still think the first 3 seasons are mostly good, but the show kept getting more repetitive to the point where I stopped watching after season 5. I don't dislike the show or anything close to that, but I don't have much need to discuss it more, but ironically my videos on the show still get good views to this day. There was also a spin-off show, The Casagrandes, about Ron Jan's family. From what I saw, I enjoyed the show and appreciate the characters for not being copies or even that same with any of the Yards. Having a variety of ages and relatives helped it feel different enough. Still, it wasn't that memorable and I never felt motivated to watch much more than the first couple episodes. I wasn't sad when it ended after 3 full seasons, and seemed surprised hearing there was getting a movie. I didn't know there was much demand, and once again Netflix seemed to not be advertising this aside from one trailer. I wasn't fully negative about this since I was one of the few people who liked the Yard House movie. I don't like it as much as I did at first, but I still find it a fun and decent movie. So, how will the Casagrandes adapt to a feature-length story? This film starts with a scene of random Mexican gods, and is that a SpongeBob reference? Not even 5 minutes into the movie, there his house is. Anyway, it's funny how from that opening scene that didn't even feature the family, I immediately put together the familiar conflict of the story. It involved Bonnie Ann's 12th birthday leading to a surprise trip to Mexico, where the mother wanted to plan the trip out while she wanted to do her own thing. Insert typical generational differences conflict. There is one scene in the movie where I really liked where there's 3 generational parents discussing things, but for the most part the story is very generic and has some characters too unlikable, and having to learn things they should already know, but more on that later. It's also a far weaker version of the Mitchell vs. Machines family conflict. As for the other plot, Ron and Yan accidentally releases a formerly turned to stone god who pretends to be a human. I like the two characters' dynamic and common ground that they have. They do a good job making the situation complex, but at the same time, this amounts to a prolonged action climax. I don't know what it is about this pace, but I checked the timestamp frequently during this film. I was kinda just waiting for an end. It's not that much boring, just they could see where it was going easily. It's yes fun in a Yard House movie, but one thing I found it did better than an actual setup. That had the Yard go to Scotland, where there was a dragon for some reason. The Casagrandes visiting Mexico just makes more sense to what's shown in the show, and it does a good job with the whole typical movie-based animated shows, even the typical show's location. Also, the topic of mythic gods seemed more interesting in a way to include this culture. I have no idea if any of this is accurate or even based on anything, but it's still a nice attempt at something. I am mixed on the animation. Starting with the negatives, there's too much shading put into this. I know it's a meme for animated movies based on cartoons, but this is very distracting and messes with the perspective by attempting a film at a 3D look. This also has some awkward moments of movement and facial expressions, and just looks inconsistent. The outline switch from thin outlines to thick outlines within shot, it just doesn't feel like a style. However, to balance all these problems are some very great looking shots. This plays with the comic inspiration well with some moments trying to assemble panels, and this has really nice vibrant colours. It's good to look at all in stills. And the bright colours really sell these locations, especially the house, which Mayan culture self sees as the Encanto house. This movie wasn't a musical, and while I know most people didn't like the music in the Yellow's movie, I did and think that no matter the quality, the vibes of a musical improve stories like this. Anyway, the comedy was just okay. There were some occasionally amusing moments from the side characters, but it's not really that funny in general. As for the characters, Ron Yan was decent here. I like how she plays a different protagonist role compared to what Yinkin does, and I enjoy her role in helping Pugari. I probably said that wrong, just a demigod character. She's complex and I like what's on her arc. As for Ron Yan's mother Marie, I have some thoughts on her active family controlling all of a sudden. Remember the Yellow's episode that introduced the Casagrandes, the Yellow's mission, where she was listening to Von Yan and was about to accept her wanting to stay in Royal Woods? What happened to her? I haven't seen the 8th season of Casagrandes, but the way she was portrayed here doesn't give a positive impression on her. Also, why is she ignoring the fact she has another child? I know it's different because Bobby is 18, but it feels like she forgot he existed in the entire movie just to care about Von Yan's 12th birthday traditions, and yet not doing this when he turned 12. This movie also didn't have that much more characters worth discussion aside from those 3. This didn't yearn at all from the Yardless movie on too many characters. This had a large cast just to stand around the side and do little. Alberta has her moments of curiosity of facts about things, but there's up to 8 pointless characters. This tries to pretend a side plot, but 2 scenes isn't a side plot. This movie needed more CJ screen time, the best character in the entire franchise. If he was the protagonist, this will get at least a 9 out of 10. Anyway, this was a very serviceable movie, but nothing very memorable or worth discussion. In conclusion, I give the Casagrandes movie 6 out of 10 and will not recommend. Unless you really like the Casagrandes in particular, this isn't really worth seeing. But at the same time, it's nothing that bad at all. This just like a quick way for Nick Young to produce more Yard House content, but it's better than live action movies. That's not saying much since I would give both of those 2 out of 10s, but still, I'm not currently watching a new Yard House nor do I plan to. But I'm not opposed to make at least one more Yard House video on some classic episodes. This show being 8 years old doesn't feel right. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching more and pressing subscribe. The end.